Good day, guys. Hope you had an awesome weekend. So we've had a really nice base being built for Bitcoin here. So today I want to look at this base, and then I want to share a couple of altcoins that I think can do really well while my play for Bitcoin is taking effect. And we also need to have a look at a few important news items for this week that might just pivot the things into the different contexts or into different directions that we want to see. Okay, so good morning, Renee. Good morning to everybody joining in live. Guys, drop me a comment, say hi. I want to love to hear where you guys are. Are you on holiday? It is December, and I think for the Southern Hemisphere at least, we tend to slow down on in the December's time. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know whether you're on holiday, and let's get into the charts. So weekly time frame, this is very important for us. The fact that we're building a base, the fact that we're staying out of this is the key. We cannot be closing candles, weekly candles in that zone. That is the important thing. So And it boils down to the message that I shared with everybody following on Twitter and in the Discord, is that, look at this area as the area where you want to try and go long. And the message was 88,500 would probably be a really good area for the long. And as we were moving into that over the weekend, you can see that we saw a really nice reaction out of that. Okay, so for today then, like I said, we're going to be looking at bullish targets for Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance, and then I want to look at the altcoins and a couple of alternatives. Okay, so that's the essence of the stream in the short, quick recap way. So let's cut this audio. Let's get serious real quick. I want to make sure that when I'm going along for Bitcoin, that I'm in the right trend, in the right direction. The worst thing you can do is fight the trend. So now what typically happens with big moves like this, everybody wanted to buy the bottom. That's why it kept on hurting so much. Now everybody is fine with the fact that it's bearish. So everybody is going to want to try and short the top, and making sure that you don't short at the wrong time. That's the key. You don't want to short at the wrong time. That is what we want to wait for. So before I'm allowed to be bearish again, I have to make sure that the higher time frames give me the necessary signals to be bearish. So mentally, mindset-wise, think bullish thoughts, regardless of what everybody's saying. Now, we do have Wednesday being a very important day for us from a news point of view. We've got the FOMC, and we have the projections. It means everybody knows about 87% that we're going to be reducing the rates again. And everybody's saying quantitative easing. This is what we need. This is what we need. But remember this little chart. Let me just take the camera away. This little chart here. The key here is after you have the Fed pivot, every time the Fed pivots, which is what we are doing right now, we are, instead of increasing the rates, we're reducing rate. After the Fed pivots like this, you have a little pivot pump. The market becomes bullish again. Why? Because the relaxation of the interest rates frees up people's money. You pay less for your debt. So you've got extra scratch in the back of your pocket. And it creates that false sense of safety. But when you have your Fed pivot pump rally, it normally runs into a relief rally, and then thereafter the real what is wrong with the economy takes effect. So we've been holding on to this chart forever now, and as we're going through, it is slowly but surely playing out. Okay, so with that being said, Wednesday's news, we'll probably see that we're going to have an FOM. We'll see that the market basically rallies into that news. And maybe at that stage, if there is bearish signals, we will take effect. Okay, so from a macro weekly point of view, the overall next area of major resistance for Bitcoin still sits at around 107 from about 100. So you can look at this entire zone as an area to be bearish if the technicals point that out. Okay, now how will that look? Because if you're new to the channel and you don't know, let's talk about that. Let me quickly educate, because remember, I'm here not giving financial advice. I educate, I share, and I want to empower, give you as much as I can possibly so that you can move on. All right. So, Mr. Dream Tanks TV, more pain incoming to the downside? Not yet. Okay. Firestorm, good morning to you, my friend. And Peter, hit that likes and subscribes. He's not here today, but he's watching. So please do that, guys. There's about 66 people joining in live. I know it's December. What the hell, man? We've been looking at Bitcoin whole year. We all want to take a break, and I will be taking a break as well after the end of the week. So I want to try and bang in a couple of nice trades, get us into that point. Okay. Now, in order to then look at Bitcoin from a point zoomed in to try and see how we can trade this, what we do have right now is we've got an overreaction. I think this was a too low a low. So we're not going to get divergence, but what we did is we tested that zone as a base. So typically the thought would have been that we would probably have bottomed somewhere around this zone, made a high, come back, create strong bullish divergence. That would be the textbook picture perfect scenario, and now you're reclaiming that area of support. And that is the clue for me. Over the weekend, although we don't see a lot of volatility in Bitcoin over the weekend, it is a definite clue that this is the area of support. So around 88,900 is the zone to hold. So more pain incoming downside. If we start trading 4-hour candles, meaning for an entire 4-hour period, we opened and closed below 89, that would probably then mean we're going to go make a lower low. The odds of that becomes really significant. So there's your support. So now you know where your back is against the wall. And if you want to buy the bottom or discount or something cheap, anywhere between where we are right now and that zone is that discounted range. Okay. Now, if we want to try and track the volatility, so what I'm going to do is just bring the mic down a bit. If you want to track the volatility, wrong tab there. Sorry, guys. We're going to look at Bitcoin point and figure chart. And this is a nice way to look at how price is moving and to establish confluence regarding trends. Now, why have I been exceptionally bullish? If you can see here, we've been adhering to a 45-degree angle. Why was I bullish at around 89? Because we were building a base with divergence. Okay. And what was resistance, okay, we've now broken through and we've turned that into support. So from a confluential point of view, like I've just shown you, this now becomes support. This now is our trend being bullish. And now we want to try and trade in harmony with that trend. Okay. So the 4-hour tells us there. Now, another way to make it simpler on yourself is to just use the buddy indicator. The buddy system is there. Let me just take away all the brush strokes off my chart. Give me a sec. So the buddy system is basically me on your trading view screen. So shows you what I would be looking at and gives you an idea of even potential trades that I would be taking. So what I have now, I've got all the strategies turned off. All I'm looking at is the color override. So when it's blue, it tells you be bullish. Okay. And the easiest way to use this is then just to, with the blue there, switch the buddy onto a 10-minute time frame or an 8-minute time frame. Switch that on as well. Make sure that it's just that. And then when the candles start turning blue, you use the 3-candle system, which is the simplest way. 1, 2, 3 candles back is where your stop would be. So that would be your stop line. And you remain bullish until we break trend. Now, how do we measure breaking trend if you don't have the point and figure, if you don't understand the Wyckoff part of things? Because this is a Wyckoff system. Richard Wyckoff developed the point and figure chart. Okay. How do you track that? Simple. There's an easy little hack that I want to share with you guys. Okay. You go to the Fibs and you go to the Speed Resistance Fan tool. You click on the bottom of the previous wave because now we would have created a 1 bottom. Every time we're making a higher high, that gives you an indication of where the wiggle room would be for the market to retrace back for you to buy the dip. So, or as an alternative, this could be, if that is the candle, you can do this even. Put a vertical line on that candle and say, your trailing stop needs to be there. And you stay in that move until it eventually breaks the trend. Now, let me just go back and rewind and explain to you guys this bearish scenario and how this same strategy would have worked and how it would have gotten you out of the market at the right time. Okay, so we're looking at around the 4th of December. So let's go to the charts real quick. 4th of December, let's see what the 4-hour would have given us. Sorry, guys. Click on the 4-hour time frame. Now, there we go. December 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's the 4th of December. There. So on the 4-hour, it would have said remain bullish. On the 1-hour, let's quickly see what we would have had there. There it said turn bearish. So the time for that is around 9 a.m. on the 5th of December. So now let's go to this 8-minute or 10-minute chart. Makes no difference. And let's go and have a look at the 5th of December. So there's the 5th of December. Okay. There's 9 a.m. And they returned bearish again. If that is the case, what would be? This would probably be your first wave. Speed fan, high, low. Once you make a lower low, that sets the tone for your trend. And it allows you to remain in that move. There was a lower low even. Remain in that move, and when it breaks through that line, that's when you call it quits. And this would have been your swing all the way from there to there. Easy as that. Just trading with momentum, letting the buddy analyze the trend, the structure, and giving you the area or the localization for your entry. The 3 pillars you need to be successful at trading. It's as simple as that. Okay, guys. So the tool is there. The tool is easy for you to use. And if you want to have access to the tool, all you need to do is subscribe to my Discord server. Now, I do have a promotion on at the moment for you guys, seeing that it is Christmas. 32% off the yearly subscription deal. So go and have a look at that in the Discord or on WAP. And if you want to have access to that link, links in the video description. Alternatively, just go to my Discord, click on the navigation channel, and there upgrade your access. It's as simple as that. Okay. While you're at it, have a look at the lifetime and read up on everything that the Discord has to offer. Okay, so we're posting charts, we're chatting, and we're looking at a couple of coins. So over the weekend, I also shared a few coins that I think was looking really good. So I want to work through these coins with you guys today. I see Mr. Wizards in the back door there as well. It says a fun week ahead. Yes, it's definitely going to be a fun week, my friend. And then let's quickly see what... I appreciate the kind words. You're awesome for watching and for giving a comment, my friend. I really appreciate you. Let's bring up my face, my pretty face. And let's continue on with the charting. Okay, so now that we understand Bitcoin, we know where we're at with the trend. We want to be bullish. We want to try and trade longer. We also then need to know when to be bearish. Now, I've given you guys resistance levels. The first resistance, let's quickly go and have a look at those resistance levels. I'm going to bring up Bitcoin daily chart to know when to start worrying. Okay, those areas in confluence with the weekly target is sitting at around 89. Now, 100 being here nearest makes no difference is our next major resistance area for the day. And the play that I have for the day is because we don't really have any real bottom signal here. I think that we're going to be chopping up in an ABC correction, which is a balanced wave. So meaning you're going to have the distance from there to there back down, and that same distance is going to be going up. So it's from a measured move approach, that will always roughly be the same. So there we have confluential or confluence from an Elliott wave point of view that these areas are going to make sense. Another way to look at that, bring in our RSI. And if that is the last area of the sell-off, statistically hidden bearish divergence. This is now when the market becomes really bearish. Let me bring up a divergence chart for you guys real quick. It's this one, and then it's probably not going to be that one. Hey, I've got it right this time. Divergence chart. Your continuation of a trend, which is clearly there. Bitcoin is bearish. You know, you're right for expecting more pain. It's just timing, knowing when that new pain is going to come your way. That continuation divergence means price cannot make a higher high, but the RSI does make a higher high, showing you that it's overextended again. More pain to come. So if we bring that back to the chart, what we have at this stage is a pivot there, boom, okay, and we already have the RSI trending or trading above that point. So hidden bearish divergence is there. So all that we need to do is just lie and wait for the right moment to pounce. And from a statistical point of view, again, remember, technical analysis is a risk management tool. We just try and statistically see what will be the most probable play. There's no guarantees in this. But statistically, the area where hidden bearish divergence occurs the most is at these ratios within the Fib levels. All this education is available in my Discord, guys. You could just go and get it there. Okay. So that's why we're waiting for that range to short. So I've given you guys a lot of confluential areas. I've now basically explained to you guys that we're fighting the trend. It's bearish, but we're correcting bullish at this stage. And it's okay to be bullish because our time to reload will be there. It's the exact same analysis or the exact same play that we used to try and get the short in on the 115 area. Made a low, hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. Let me show you. I'm going to go 4-hour time frame, and we're going to go to 115, just so you guys can see that it's just about probabilities. There's no guarantees in the game. It's about the probabilities. Okay. So when we were at 115, let's bring in the RSI. RSI is at a high. Price couldn't make a higher high. All that area have lower highs on the RSI. Hidden bearish divergence. So you use your Fib, take it from that pivot, take it to the low area, and there you have it. Okay. So there's, sorry, this is 1 hour. Let's go 4 hours. Just going to make it a little bit neater. Statistically, that's the range for the sell. Okay. Right. So think we will go to 70K first, and we'll have a relief rally to 100. No, I don't want to see us sell off first. The reason for that is, you know, at some stage when something is too bloody, nobody's going to touch it. And ask yourself this, you know, there's that like-minded people when faced with the same information is going to come to the same conclusion, roughly. And because the kind of people that take up trading and crypto and investing, it's disciplined people. It's people with higher than average educations. It's people in really good jobs. It's people that have time to look and think about their future. How am I going to retire one day? You know, we're the like-minded average of the, you know, the typical crypto investor. So, and trader. So if we look at that and we say, okay, what will hurt the most? Going to 70 is a fair expectation now. And because of that, we're not going to act. And that's why it won't do that, because our actions as in a single, you know, your actions by yourself, insignificant in the market, whether you sell or buy your Bitcoin at the moment. But the collective does play a role. If everybody that wanted to buy Bitcoin this cycle bought it, it cannot go any higher anymore. So as a collective, we have power. So we have to look at ourselves as the individual and then look at what the collective would think and then try and trade that. Because that's how you make money after all. That's why I sold 125. As a collective, everybody was comfortable saying 200, 150. It's definitely going to hit 150. So that confidence, that's bad. Now everybody's very confident that 70 is going to come your way. And I'm going to show you this now. We're going to change your mind quickly. And it's that confidence that's probably is the reason why I'm trading against it. It's first going to hurt people by going up, changing their mind, and then we'll probably then hit the 70 later down the road. Okay. And the chart you need is a weekly. You don't need a massive chart for that. Look at these lows. Imbalance for a continuation. Imbalance for a continuation. Now I'm saying because of the 4-year cycle chart, this chart, let me just do this. I'm saying it's bear market, but if there wasn't this chart, I wouldn't even thought about this. I'm saying this because statistically, we're now in that sell-off zone. Do you know this chart? You need to know this chart, probably. Okay, so back to the point now. Let's bring in the RSI real quick. Stop drawing lines on the screen, bring in the RSI. Oh, now, this is the thing. Low, lower low, low, higher low. Hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. Let's do another litmus test of this divergence. Take it from the low to the high and apply the statistical area for where hidden bullish divergence will take effect and push price higher. It's not coincidental that this area is there. So in all fairness, this is the right time to be bullish. What if now we go to 150 after maybe everybody gives up? And what if we break the 4-year cycle thing and chop around? Because the expectation for me is that this 4-year cycle, this bearish market for Bitcoin, is just going to be a chopness, whatever. Excuse my bad joke there. That's the expectation. Now, what will hurt more? Go right back there because you just sold everything expecting a bear market, and then buy back at 110 just to see a dump again, all the way back down. And that's the hard part. That's being a contrarian at the right times. Sometimes much harder than the word basically points to. Just saying, if everybody's bearish, I'll be bullish. Okay? And that's it. So let's leave it at that for now, because there's a lot of more alts that I want to try and go through. But it has to make you think. I like it. It has to make you think. Okay? What's everybody else planning? What would they want? And why is this there in the right zone? What's your job? To trade the risk. And the technical says the risk is to the bears at the moment. So it's better to be a bull. Okay. Now, can't be bullish until we get a monthly green. Look, if you're looking at higher time frames like that, I love the comments. Keep sending them in. You need to be thinking about what time frame you're trading. You can't sit out for a bullish Heiken-Ashi candle. And maybe at that stage, it never comes. Okay. There's definitely a lot of money to be made there. And maybe it turns bullish and then it closes bearish again. And now you miss out on the entire move. So the monthly time frame for traders doesn't really make sense. We look at the weekly to just kind of get a feel of where we are. And when we look at the 4-hour to get in on the moves, that's the only time frame. So you're not wrong by your saying, if that is the case, but then that's more investment point of view. And that makes sense. That's an easy way to look at this thing. So well, when I want to buy Bitcoin and hodl that and buy it and keep it for the next 4-year cycle, maybe that's a really good way to look at it. Wait for the Heiken-Ashi candle. Because the Heiken-Ashi candle is basically a candle that functions like a moving average. Looks at the previous time frames. I think it divides it by 4, the highs, and I can't remember the math around it. But it's a delayed candle in a way. So good strategy, good way to learn to sit on your hands. Kudos on you, buddy. Okay, let's quickly see what Stanku has. If we're in a bear market, what about the alts going to zero? And this is the contradiction that we have. So Stanku, the alts at this stage, some of them have been selling off while Bitcoin is coming down now for months prior to that. And they've put in some really good lows. So relief rally still being the key term here is that they might have their first little pump to make a higher high, to establish a base range. Back to this chart, like I said, we might be chopping because of the nature. it didn't go parabolic like this time, like the last time round for the alts and so forth. So Bitcoin maturing, meaning we could potentially be chopping range bound. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt until the weekly deletes the hidden bullish divergence. Then we can say, okay, well, now it's bad. Now we can start calling crazy targets. And that's why I'm looking at these alts, and some of them to the BTC pairing is really looking good. So the Bitcoin dominance chart would be the easiest chart for us to just kind of get a little bit of a clue or a feel for where we're at with that. So let me just bring up the BTC dominance chart. So what we've had was the dominance moving increasingly just in Bitcoin's favor. We've had hidden bullish divergence. So the last time around, I wasn't calling alt season because this was definitely not the right time. We've had strong bearish divergence, and the expectation was that there's still going to be a little bit of a move, and maybe it's going to go there. I don't know. Once we make a lower low on the dominance, that's the area where I would say alt season. But while we're here, your fourth leg, the bottom of the four, could potentially be a lot of chop and range bound. And it's that range bound that can see selective alts maybe find a floor and rally a little bit, which is much harder to do than we give ourselves credit, because being in the right alt at the right time is tricky. There's millions of the bloody things out there. So the better bet to be is just to try and single out the few coins, good ones, and then keep an eye on them. Okay. So yeah, so there we have it. Let's quickly see what else we have before we move on. I see going up to FOMC, then and later Japan raise interest rate and sink. Yeah. Well, I'm expecting a FOMC rally, rally up to FOMC. Maybe if we hit the divergence, if we hit around 100K around that area, I'm going to short it. Statistically, it points out to some really good moves, and the alts on that journey could see some really good gains. So let's have a look at some of those alts. So in the Discord, the first one was I like SUI. So let's have a look at SUI real quick and see what it is that I liked about SUI. I'm going to use this one and just type in SUI for you guys. I want to start with a clean chart so that we don't have any biases. So the weekly time frame for SUI. Statistically, your investment, your long-term reload zone is in this area. So SUI, from a HODL point of view, we're in the right zone. And the reason I'm saying this is I want to look at trading this. I don't want to look at investing it. The reason for this is it gives us that relief rally kind of pump that just takes us to a different zone. Okay, so if we have a look at the previous crazy pump that we had there, what happens when you're in the zone? Statistically, let me just get that so I can. That's the scenario. Okay. Now, whether like I said, I don't know whether SUI is going to break through the resistance and then go all-time highs again. That's to be determined. We'll wait and see until we get there. But SUI does have a really good area for that. Strong bearish trend. Now, when it's fast, it don't last. So there has to be a little bit of a recycling before we move on. And the recycling for something like this for SUI could be a 55% increase in price. Now, if you 10x that's an amazing run. Okay, so that's why I like SUI for that reason. So I want to try and see there. So the 4-hour time frame, you've got the tools, you've got everything, you know how to get them. Okay, let's switch on buddy. Sorry, let me just update the buddy because to the latest version. Okay, so the 4-hour is not bullish just yet. So wait for this thing to turn blue. Once it turns blue, go on to the smaller time frames and get your entry in. Because where we're at right now will probably just be chopping a little. So, but there you have it. So wait for it. It's already throwing out hints that it wants to turn bullish. Momentum tags in there. Okay. I have to redo a proper workout on how the indicator works. But yeah, I'll give you guys a new video on that, but I will do that. Okay, so that's the first one that I'm thinking that's going to do really good. Now, here's a personal favorite of mine, SAY. Layer 1 as well has massive potential for more upside. So let's quickly have a look at SAY. So I'm going to load, say, I'll load the Binance version for this. Let's go weekly time frame again. Let me explain. Yet again. So maybe just let's talk Sui one more minute. Sui might be here to do this. That's the move I'm waiting for Sui. Say is a little further down the road. It's now done the relief rally after the all-time highs. It's holding on to critical areas. So it's as cheap as it should be. Wait for the momentum to break, and then it will probably at minimum rally there, build a sideways base from that. That will ultimately give us our maybe next alt run. And that's that hope. The alts will probably not move. If it falls below that range, this is going to turn into a towel, and it's one of those. It was a very, very powerful coin. It did so well for everybody, and then not towel, tier. But the key here is once you fall below that initial launch zone there, once you fall below it, that's where it turns into a graveyard coin. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Okay. Next coin that I'm really excited about is KMNO Finance. Yet again, you can look at the similarities, guys. We're in the right zone for the accumulation. Okay, that is taking effect. You've got on the weekly time frame momentum building up. Okay, and on the 4-hour time frame, this has already been bullish. We've got higher highs. Okay, so buying the dip with this one is really good, and you can use the buddy indicator to get you in on the moves here because the bullish momentum is clearly there. Turn blue, you enter, use the 3-candle rule there, and then there is your position. With this being your first wave, you can track your momentum using the speed resistance fan, meaning that from now on, we stay above that line. As long as we make higher highs as we go, I'll track it up. Has to stay above that line. And you ride this thing for as much as it's going to give you. KMNO Finance does have some really good bumper mentors. Okay. Now, 32 minutes in, it's December. So I'm going to leave you guys with these coins, okay, and point you to the Discord. Another coin that we probably, that I just want to remind you guys is Athena, ENA. Same thing. First wave is in. So we want to try and trade this thing back to 42. It's a 100% gainer on this one. Okay. Really good spot trade. Okay. PEAQ, same thing. First wave in. If we can build, this is a little fast. Not quite too happy with this one. A little fast. Let's see how it grinds sideways. But if we break this momentum, there's going to be targets around 6 cents, 7 cents. Okay. So there you have that. Okay, guys. So you know where to find me. I'm in the Discord. As always, there was a problem. I thought everybody could access this channel, but somehow it was just me in the discussion channel with, with the access. But that is fixed now, so guys can work. So you know how to get hold of me. Go and get access there. Okay, there you know. Oops. And alternatively, you can sign up with Prime XBT. There's a Prime XBT promotion going on right now. 77% discount on trading fees, meaning the cost to buy one Bitcoin on leverage was normally about $70. So 70 to buy, 70 to sell. Now it's $10. That's a great deal. Okay, guys. So get hold of that, and that's there. So if you want a nice swing short while the fees are quite low, go and have a look at that. And if you follow the steps in there, you can even get access to the buddy indicator as a trial period to go try it out, go check it out. So make sure to do that. Go to the Discord, links in the video description, and get your buddy. Okay. There you have it. That's everything from me for today. Guys, thanks so much for taking time. Let's maybe I'll do an ASTER. Because ASTER was a really big coin at one stage. Everybody was so hyping in on ASTER. And the same now for Zcash. Let's maybe, I've got 2 coins. Let's spend some time on Zcash and ASTER. So Zcash, there was the hidden bearish divergence close to TP1 on that play. This is now going from Dino coin again. So old coin, just long sideways accumulation, and it's exploded. Now, let's scroll right back. Let's forget about the insane success that it had. And let's just do this. Lateral range breakout. I'm going to apply the long-term fib now for you. Just to look at, that's the probabilities at play. This is the area for investment. Okay. There's your relief rally. Market's going to move to at least the area of resistance. And then it's going to be sideways. Now, I mean, this was a hell of a long time being sideways. Then the big move happens. So if you understand just the relationships of where the market is going to start building a base, there's no way at this stage that you knew that this is going to happen. There's no way I can guarantee predict this, but I can at least give you the tools to help you guys get to the right levels and wait, maybe be as lucky. And remember the definition of luck: opportunity meeting preparation. So this entire move, when will I want to invest in Zcash again? Well, there's the low, there's the high. Wait for that zone before I'll look into this. And we already bounced in there a little bit. So maybe relief cap rally and maybe move back down. That's Zcash for you guys. Okay. Now, ASTER. Let's have a look at ASTER. Okay. ASTER at this stage, guys. Let's use the buddy indicator. Let's have a look at the color. It's bearish. So your prognosis for ASTER is just to trade it short. All you need to do on a 4-hour time frame is trade it short. Once ASTER, which is already orange there, once you see this turn orange, go short. 3-candle rule. Now, if this thing turns blue, some stage, then only you look to enter on the smaller time frames. Simple as that. Weekly time frame, let's just do some analysis for you guys. So now you know how to use it with the buddy. Okay. Weekly time frame, what do we have? Nothing to rave on. I want to see more of this. Remember the Zcash chart. You need this in order for us to start dreaming big. So for now, it's just a trader market. There you have it. Okay. Thanks so much. How am I doing? Well, let's rate it. If this was a chart, I would probably say around 8.5, maybe 9. How are you guys doing? Give me your number. Let's quickly end off the stream by everybody sharing their number. So I'll go for an 8.5. If I get a nice BTC short, it will be a 10. But let's say 8.5 is my number. What's your number? How are you doing? I'll stay online because obviously there's a little bit of a delay between when I speak and you guys hear it. So I would like to see the move. Okay. While that happens, Enigma is saying, is the cycle over? No, the cycle isn't over. Big picture stuff. Let's big picture Bitcoin real quick. While you guys, there's about 223 people between Twitter and YouTube watching live. Okay. Everybody comment, just give me your number. Just want to see where you're at. Okay. I'm at 8.5. Let's bring up this chart. This chart is a very nice chart. We use this actually to navigate the entire run I gave you guys. Buy low, and then obviously the one big missed buy and an enter. Now, where we're at right now, the play is very simple. From a fractal point of view, I'm saying we're there from the previous high. Okay. Mass move. Okay. Relief rally. I'm not saying necessarily a higher high. That was exception to the move. The market rhymes. It never repeats. Okay. So it's always going to be some way look the same, but it never repeats. So with that said, that's the environment I'm in. Okay, so we've topped out. We had our first move. Now, this incidentally coincides with, let me just take this away. And please keep sending in your numbers, guys. I would love to see what your rating is. How are you rating yourself? How are you rating at this stage? Okay. I'm an 8.5. See where you are. Stanko, 7.5. So you're close to me, buddy. You're close to me. Okay. Now, statistically, between the cycle, when we say the word cycle, it's the time between halving. So halving 2 to halving 3, that's the cycle. So stock to flow model, I think it was what's a guy, Plan B, that invented the stock to flow model for Bitcoin that basically points to the halving and then the cycle that moves on higher. So that's the originator. So I'm saying to myself, if I then take the time between the two, so I'm just using the time Fib zones, 38.2618, keeping it simple. We found that between the halvings, around the 38.2, you need to get out. and around the 618, you need to get back in. And if you just do that, your nearest makes no difference at the tops and at the lows each time as Bitcoin is going through its adoption curve. Okay, so cycle over. Cycle isn't over from a point that we haven't broken the cycle. It's where we are within the cycle. I think that the question is that needs to be answered. And from that point of view, all I'm saying is that from the cycle point of view, is we're now moving into that range where now is not the time to invest back into the market potentially. It would be a good time to trade the market. The good investment time will come a little bit later. Now, we take things level by level. I'm a level-headed kind of guy as well. No bullshit, no fools, no hidden ulterior motives here. If we start reclaiming certain critical levels, I'll flip bullish immediately. Because for me, it's not about being right. I don't want this to play out to say that I am the best. I just want to make sure I'm positioned in the right way. Statistically, that's the play. But if statistically we break, I will get back in and I will ride this thing and I will abandon this chart as quick as it becomes irrelevant. It's as simple as that. Okay, over to you, Renee, 7.35, Altec 7. Emery, a 3. I do hope that things are going to turn around for you, my friend. We need to get that 3 to an 8 real quick. Okay, we've got David's a 6, 6.8. Dennis in the fitness, 7.17. Interesting. I don't see any 618s, 6.18. Any Fib numbers in here. There's one. Okay, awesome, cool. Thanks so much for taking the time, guys. So the 4-year cycle isn't over. We're just in a different area within the 4-year cycle. And as I say, in the Discord, we look at this thing from a trading point of view. We look at this thing from an investment point of view. I do have HODL reports in there. We've got our trade reports. There's a new trading report we'll be dropping today as well in the trading side. Okay, market tactics, this week's trade report. The agenda is there, so I need to go and record the report. And then obviously it coincides then with the trades for that week, which we haven't taken any trades for the week just yet. So that's how the Discord works. You're more than welcome to join in there. Make sure to go there, guys. Okay, thanks so much. I'll be trading on Prime this week, and I'll be posting my stop there because it's the cheapest place to trade at this stage, guys. So why not? Why not save money there? Have a lovely day. Cheers.